tell us why you've put this review into place.
Well, quite simply, over the last few months, we've seen a number of incidents of poor player behaviour, ranging from ugly sledging on the field of play, send-offs, dissent at umpires' decisions, even a walk-off in the Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India tri-series, which is not acceptable, and we need to do something about it.
And what will the review consider, and what will it take into account and look at?
Well, I think there are two areas. First of all, we need to look at the code of conduct. Are the offences that are set out in that code appropriate? Secondly, are they graded according to seriousness correctly? What are the elements of each code, of each offence? For example, one man's banter is an insult to someone else. One man or woman's way of showing his passion is a send-off in another man's definition. So we need to more clearly define each element of each offence so that the players are absolutely clear. No ambiguity should exist as to what will constitute an offence and what will not. And then thirdly, we need to look at the range of penalties that are appropriate for each of those offences. At the moment, we've got a range of penalties that can be applied, and there'll probably always going to be a need for a range of some sorts. But we need to give more attention to ball tampering, for example. Should it be level 2? Should it be level 3?
And you said that you're looking at the code of conduct. You're also looking at the idea of defining what the spirit of cricket is more clearly for players and re-establishing a culture of respect. Tell us about that.
I think it's also important. The laws talk about the spirit of cricket, but it means different things to different people. The cricketers from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka might have a different view on sledging than players from Australia or South Africa, for example. So we need to get together and get in a mix of people from all over the world and establish what do we actually mean when we say we need to play the game according to the spirit of cricket. It's too vague at the moment, and there are different definitions around. And so this review will be looking at that, trying to establish what do we mean when we say we want to play the game with respect to our opponents, the match officials, the game, the fans, etc. And hopefully at the end of it, we'll have a universal view on what it means. It's so important to cricket, the spirit of cricket. It's the one thing that sets our sport apart. And if the biggest eye-opener from the last series has been how important the fans see the spirit of cricket. And I think we were a bit complacent in that regard. We were, T20 cricket, entertaining, faster run rates, bigger sixes, great fielding and all that. We were focused too much on that, and we forgot that actually what really makes our game special is the spirit of cricket, and we need to be able to better capture it and implement it in the future.
Have you been surprised at the attention and the debate the ball tampering issue in South Africa has received?
Yes and no. No, only because I think we have been complacent when it comes to how do we expect our players to behave. Yes, I've been surprised with the magnitude of the response, but as I say, it's a clear eye-opener for everyone that, hold on, fans support cricket because partly, and very importantly, because it's played in a certain way. And if we're going to forget about that, we're in danger of losing those fans.
And how much of an issue do you think ball tampering is in the sport? Do you think there's this general feeling that pervades the sport, well, everybody does it, so therefore don't tell me off because everybody does it?
I think that seems to be the case. I can remember going back when I was working in the dressing room as a young kid, a teenager, in first-class cricket back in South Africa. Even in those days, I knew there were bowlers that used lip ice. They put lip ice on their pants before they went out onto the field. So I think it is something that has become ingrained. It's part of cricket. But using lip ice, maybe a bit of sunscreen, maybe using the finger to raise the quarter seam, it's kind of been in the game, but very difficult to police, very difficult to catch anyone. But only now recently, with where people are, or players seem to be going to more extraordinary lengths, using mints on the ball, sandpaper, as we've recently seen, I think it has highlighted the problem for us. And I think the danger is that we just ignore it, rather than stepping in now and really drawing a line in the sand and saying, no, that is cheating, let's deal with it properly and appropriately.
And what about the punishments meted out? The ICC gave Cameron Bancroft a 75% fine and 3 demerit points, Steve Smith 4 demerit points, 100% fine and a 1 test match ban. And here we have Cricket Australia stepping in with a year's ban for both Warner and Smith and a 9-month ban for Bancroft. How do you balance the 1 match versus 12 months in Steve Smith's case? Should the ICC have done more? Well,
the actions that the ICC can take, the match officials can take in reporting and then imposing a penalty, has to be done within the framework of the current code. And at this stage, ball tampering as an offence is listed under the offences under level 2, which attracts a range of penalties, and Steve Smith was sort of handed a penalty at the top end of that range. Whether this is what the review is all about, whether that level of penalty is appropriate for that particular type of offence is what we want to look at. In Australia's case, I know that they viewed it bigger than just a ball tampering issue. This was letting, you know, the Australian cricket down, the way they supposedly play the game, their spirit, their definition of the spirit of cricket. So they viewed it in a much more serious light than the ICC did, which had to stick to the framework of our existing code.
So this has been one of the most acrimonious series we've seen in a long time, the South Africa versus Australia series. With hindsight, do you think the umpires, the members or the ICC could have stepped in earlier to stop the bad blood boiling over from game to game to game?
Yes, I think so. But I think the reason that they might not have is because of this ambiguity as to what does it really mean to sledge? When does it become an offence under the code? Is it just, are you allowed to, you know, try and get under the skin of the batsman? Is swearing in itself an offence? And I think to some degree this confusion is causing a lack of consistency when it comes to applying and enforcing the code. And this is what this review is all about. Let's draw that line in the sand. No, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Let's everybody be clear as to what we're going to say is insulting and what language is prohibited on the field.